What's up? Let me show you my CD collection from the Never to Later CD. Let's get started. We're gonna start out with 3 Doors Down. I'm gonna tell you how many times I'm gonna tell you my favorite song and things, and I'm gonna say probably my favorite 3 Doors Down album, and then we'll move on to the next one. Alright. So first one, 3 Doors Down, The Better Life, the debut album. This came out in 2000. I'll show you the inside of all these. CD, booklet, everything. My favorite song, probably Be Like That. Alright, next one, 3 Doors Down, Away from the Sun, their second studio album. This album is really good. Here Without You is probably my favorite song. So here's the front, spine back, disc and booklet. Here's 17 Days. Here's the front, spine, in the back. My favorite song, I'll look it up in a minute. There's the inside, behind the disc. I played this a few times. Basically a best of, third studio album though. I like this album. Yeah, I can't find the track list right off, but I like the song. Oh, come on. What shoots on the disc? Let's see. Should be. Yeah, this is the third album. Got a couple more for 3 Doors Down. Time of My Life, 2008. This is a good album. But I'm not pulling this out, but I do like this. Time of My Life is probably my favorite song. This came in 2008. Cool. 3 Doors Down. Final one. Alright. And Greatest Hits. 2013. I'll show you the inside of this one. Now we're on to 311. Uplifter. I absolutely love their self-titled album. Favorite song probably for you. I have one 38 Special CD, which is the best 38 Special. Got a couple from 2000 Maniacs. So here is Try By Mine, my favorite album of theirs. And Unplugged. This is from 93. I was about to say 90 something. Now we're starting in with the 80s. We're going to kick it off with AC/DC. Another one of my favorite bands of all time. High Voltage. Their debut album. They never released a self-titled album. Probably TNT's my favorite song. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Favorite song, probably the title track. Highway to Hell. Definitely one of their best. And I think their best work. Back in Black. My favorite AC/DC. Probably my favorite AC/DC album. Live. Ballbreaker. Black Ice. And Rock or Bust with the unticular cover there. Now we're on to Aerosmith, their debut album. Should show you front and back of this album. Get Your Wings. Rocks, definitely one of their best. Greatest Hits. Done with Mirrors. Classics Live. Classics Live 2. Now, the next few Aerosmith CDs are the 90s, one more for the 80s. Permanent Vacation. Yes. Now we're on to the 90s ones. Well, last couple from the 80s. Gems and Pump from the 80s. I love this one. Probably my favorite Aerosmith album. Well, now we're on the 90s. Get a Grip. Probably my favorite Aerosmith album. Big Ones. 9 Lives. Devil's Got a New Disguise, the 20th Remastered, last one that I animated, and 20th. Edema, their debut album, or self-titled. They didn't really have much success after that. Here we got some Bryan Adams, Cuts Like a Knife. Reckless, probably my favorite Bryan Adams song. To add this in the case, yeah, dude. Oh. You still have Nate for it. Here, I will choose free will. So far, so good. And 18 Till I Die. Now, that's it for Bryan Adams. Let's go ahead and move on to Adele. 21. Air Supply Ultimate. Now, that's all for that. Now, that's it for Air Supply. Let's go and move on to Alice in Chains. Another one of my favorite bands. Facelift. Sap. Dirt. Jar of Flies. Their self-titled album. Unplugged album, acoustic album, I should say. Greatest Hits. The What Gives Away the Blue, probably my favorite Alice album. The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, and Rainier Fog. Alright, that's it for Alice in Chains. Let's go ahead and move on to the Allman Brothers. The debut album. Eat a Peach. Win, Lose, or Draw. 7 Turns. Shade the Two Worlds. A decade of hits. Where It All Begins. The Manicotti Anthology, and Greg Allman Band. Now we're gonna kind of go into the Anthrax. So here's The Sound of White Noise, my favorite Anthrax album. We have Asia, Alpha, Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes, her debut album. Crucify, Under the Paint. Alright, that's it for Tori Amos. Let's go ahead and move on to Audioslave. The debut album, Out of Exile, and Resolutions. Alright, that's it for Audioslave. Let's go and move on to Audio Event, Dirty Sexy Something. Alright, that's it for Audio Event. Let's go and move on to Avenged Sevenfold, the best, Arcade Fire. I can't remember the debut. Alright, that's it for Arcade Fire. Let's move on to Avenged Sevenfold, the best of. Alright, that's it for the A's. Let's move on to Let It Be. B-52s, Cosmic Pain, Rome. Alright, now that's it for B-52s. Let's move on to Bad Company. 10 from 6. Basically, that's Holy Water. Probably my favorite by Bad Company. And Manicotti and Anthology. Alright, that's it for Bad Company. Let's go ahead and move to Band of Horses. Their debut, Everything All the Time. Alright, that's it for Band of Horses. Let's go ahead and move on to BC. Let's go ahead and move on to Bare Naked Ladies. Maybe You Should Not Drive. I can't drive at all. One of Pirate Ship. Everything to Everyone. Best of. Party and 6 other tracks. Today and Summer Days and Summer Nights. This is actually their Pet Sounds. Endless Summer. Greatest Hits. Alright, that's it for the Beach Boys. Let's go ahead and move to the Beastie Boys, their debut album. Alright, that's it for the Beastie Boys. Let's go ahead and move on to the Beatles. A Hard Day's Night. Beatles for Sale. Rubber Soul, Help. Rubber Soul. My favorite Beatles album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Magical Mystery Tour. The White Album. Abbey Road. And, well, that's it for the studio. Let's move on to Greatest Hits, which is called Let It Be. Now we're on to the compilations and live stuff that the Beatles released after John Lennon's death, which was in '80. I have their Beatles Past Masters, Live at the BBC, Anthology 1, Anthology 3, Yellow Submarine, Beatles 1, and Get Back. Alright, that's it for the Beatles. Let's go ahead and move on to the Bee Gees. Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Greatest. Alright, that's it for the Beatles. That's it for the Bee Gees. Let's go to that. Old Lee. Sea Change. Morning Phase. Alright, that's it for Beck. Let's go for some Chuck Berry. Oh yeah, Greatest Hits. Alright, that's it for Chuck Berry. Let's move on to one of my favorite bands of all time, Blink-182. Cheshire Cat. Dude Ranch. I don't have Animal of the State yet. Animal of the State. Animal of the State. Animal of the State. Now that's it for the Blink-182. Let's go ahead and move on to the Black Crowes. Shake Your Moneymaker, their debut. The Southern Harmony and Musical Companion. Amorica, my favorite Black Crowes album. By Your Side. 361 Charm. This is By Your Side. And Greatest Hits. Alright, that's it for the Black Crowes. Let's move on to Pat Benatar. Crimes of Passion, her debut. Best Shots. Greatest Hits. Alright, that's it for Pat Benatar. Let's go ahead and move on to Blondie. Best of Blondie and No Exit. Alright, that's it for Blondie. Let's go ahead and move on to Blind Melon. The debut album. And Soup. Alright, that's it for Blind Melon. That's about it for Blind Melon. Let's go ahead and move on to Blues Traveler. The debut album. Travelers and Thieves. 4, and my favorite, Saturday Night Until Morning. Alright, that's about it for Blues Traveler. Let's go ahead and move on to Bon Jovi. I have most of the catalog. Slippery When Wet. New Jersey. You're Gonna Get It with the soundtracks. Keep the Faith. Crossroads. These Days. Crush. Bounce. Have a Nice Day. Lost Highway. Circle. And This House Is Not For Sale. Alright, that's it for Jackson. That's it for Bon Jovi. Let's go ahead and move on to Jackson Browne. Run on Empty and The Best of Jackson Browne. Alright, that's it for Jackson Browne. Let's go ahead and move on to Boston. The debut album. Don't Look Back. Walk On and Greatest Hits. Alright, that's it for Boston. Let's go ahead and move on to Bush. 16 Stone. And their amazing follow-up, Razor Blade Suitcase. I don't think they'd use the Razor Blade Suitcase album for a good one. Kate Bush, The Red Shoes. that's it for the B's. Well, got a couple more for the B. Baby Boy, Best of Bowie, Reality. Michael Bolton, The One Thing. Come on. Days later. Ladder. Later. Come on. Get out here. And Lindsey Buckingham bracelets. Alright, that's it for the B's. Let's move on to letter C, which is the last letter for this video. Alright. First one to see, we have Cake with their debut album Fashion Nugget and Preliminary Magic. Alright, that's about it for Cake. Let's go ahead and move on to Jerry Cantrell. Dangerous Trip. Alright, that's it for Jerry. Let's move on to Candlebox. The debut album. Lucy and Happy Pills. Alright, that's about it for Candlebox. Let's move on to The Cars, which are another favorite of mine. The debut album, Greatest Hits, Door to Door. Alright, that's about it for The Cars. Let's go ahead and move on to Casting Crowns. The debut album, Until Something, I can't remember the title of that one. Come to the Well, and I Am Jesus. Alright, that's about it for Casting Crowns. Let's go ahead and move on to Cheap Trick. In Color, Live at Budokan, Lap of Luxury, Greatest Hits. Alright, that's about it for Cheap Trick. Let's move on to Kenny Chesney. No Shoes, No Shirt, No Problem. Alright, that's about it for Kenny Chesney. Let's move on to Chevelle. Another one of my favorite bands. Wonder What's Next. Probably my favorite Chevelle album. These Type of Things Can Do Us In. And Hats Off to the Bull. Alright, that's about it for Chevelle. Let's move on to Chicago. Trance Authority, their debut album. Chicago, What If You Use My Name, Another Hits, and The Best of Chicago. Alright, that's about it for Chicago. Let's move on to Robert Cray. I think this was called Magical Soul. Alright, that's about it for Robert Cray. Let's go and move on to Cinderella. Once Upon a and Rockin' the Greatest Hits. Alright, that's about it for Chevelle. Let's go ahead and move on to Eric Clapton. That's about it for Cinderella. Let's move on to Eric Clapton. Slow Hand. I'm a huge fan of his stuff. Timepieces. Behind the Sun. August. Crossroads. Journeyman. Hang on. 24 Nights. Unplugged. From the Great Idea with this one cassette. I have the Cream of Clapton CD. Pilgrim. And, Blues. And then we're going to move on to the last row of Clapton down here. These are all Eric CDs. Clapton Chronicles, the best of Eric Clapton. B.B. King and with Eric Clapton, Ride It with the King. Reptile. The Road to Escondido, Complete Clapton, and Icon. Alright, that's about it for Eric. Let's move on to Cracker. Kerosene Hat. Alright, that's about it for Cracker. Let's move on to The Clash. Sandinista. Alright, that's about it for The Clash. Let's move on to Joe Cocker. Greatest Hits. Alright, that's about it for Joe Cocker. Let's move on to Coheed and Cambria. Best of. Alright, that's about it for Coheed and Cambria. Now we're getting into my second favorite band of all time. There we go. Collective Soul. I made it this far. I have all their first 8 albums. So let's get started on their albums. Kind of alternative rock. If you like hard rock, you'd love them. Hints, Allegations, and Things Left Unsaid. Their debut. Self-titled. Discipline Breakdown. Dosage. My favorite one of theirs. Blender. Their greatest hits. Youth. And Afterwards. Alright, that's about it for Collective Soul. Let's move on to Phil Collins, Face Value. Alright, that's just about it for Phil Collins. Let's move on to Concrete Blonde. Willpower, the Ultimate of Hollywood. Alright, that's about it for Concrete Blonde. let's dive into Counting Crows. I have their first. I've got several of their CDs. Definitely 3 or 4. I don't know how many exactly I actually currently have. In my A through Z, you never know what I'm going to find. So you have August Everything After, Remembering the Satellites, This Desert Life, Sounds About Ghost. All right, that's about it for Counting Crows. Let's move on to Coverdale Page, their debut album. All right, that's about it for Coverdale Page. Let's move on to Creed. Hang on. My Own Prison, Human Clay, Weathered, and Greatest Hits. Alright, that's about it. Well, my name is Shay, so pretty cool. Alright, that's about it for Creed. Let's move on to Creedence Clearwater Revival, another one of my favorite bands. Bayou Country, Chronicle 1, Chronicles Greatest Hits, Chronicle 2, and Playlist. Alright, that's about it for Creedence. Let's move on to Crosby, Stills, and Nash. American Dream. Alright, that's about it for Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Let's go ahead and move on to Sheryl Crow. I've got most of her CDs in order. Tuesday Night Music Club. Self-Titled, If It Makes You Happy. The Gubba's, the Gamma, or something like that. Come On, Come On. And Icon. Alright, that's about it for Sheryl Crow. Let's move on to Alice Cooper. And we're going to do the rest of the C's here. Killer? That is actually a killer album. Greatest Hits. Classics. Men and Monsters, and Schools Out Nerds. Alright, that's about it for Alice Cooper. Let's move on to Kelly Clarkson. Thankful. Alright, that's about it for Kelly Clarkson. Let's move on to Coldplay. Huge stack. Parachutes. A Rush of Blood to the Head. Coldplay Live. X and Y. Viva La Vida and Death and All His Friends. Mila Zazzoto. And Ghost Stories. Alright, that's about it for Coldplay. Let's move on to Tracy Chapman. Chronicles in the Beginning. Alright, that's about it for Tracy Chapman. Let's move on to the Cult. Electric and Sonic Temple. Alright, that's about it for the Cult. Let's go ahead and move on to last CD here. Ray Charles. Jesus Loves Company. This is his actually last album. I'm telling you, the next video won't be this long. I promise. It might be a little bit longer because there's a lot of good bands in there. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Alright, bye.